I'm Steve, and this is CC Garage. Hello YouTube and welcome back. Well, our last episode we ended up putting compressors on the truck finally, and the front goes up a lot faster than it did because I could never get it up to 180 psi. But today we're going to work on getting the truck to go down faster. That's where these come in. So right now we have 4 valves. We're going to be adding 4 more. So it's 2 valves per wheel, one up, one down. So to get our baseline comparison, or whatever you want to call it, we're going to go ahead and raise the truck up. So the truck is up. Now we're going to pull out a stopwatch. We're going to start the stopwatch and drop the truck and see how long it actually takes. And go. So that took about 8 seconds. So remember that for when we get our other line hooked up. And hopefully we can cut it down from 8 seconds, because 8 seconds, yeah, moving slow looks pretty cool, but we want it to drop a little faster. Like the back drops. So the back jumps too. So. But on the back we only have a couple feet of line, so that's where the difference is. And on the front, you got from the front goes into a T in the middle where the wheel hump is, or the transmission hump, and then it comes all the way back, and that is what this line right here is. These are our front valves, these are our back valves. So we got our compressors there. We're gonna add our other 4 valves and that little cubby right there behind the compressors, and we'll have to run more lines up along the frame rail to go into this harness, or whatever you want to call it, because it plugs in right inside the door. So let me go get our fittings, our valves, and clean up a little bit from the last project, and then we should be able to start throwing these valves together. So stay tuned. Okay, now that we got our work area cleaned up, we got our valves. I've already gone through and put the brackets on all of them. So what we're going to do now is, I have this marker. We're going to draw the airflow. And we're back. Still not great, but readable. So we got all those marked. That's the way the airflow is going. So, well, don't be a Bentley. Put your cap back on your markers. So the plan is they're going to get mounted right here. Should be plenty of space. I know that because we have our 4 valves there and there's plenty of space. So let's go ahead. Screw our fittings in. Hood prop is over here. Hood prop, cheater bar, whatever you want to call it. What I need to do is I need to get the springs on here so the hood will hold itself up, because she's a heavy one. So this is the line that was actually melted before. So we already have this connector on here. Go ahead and pull that off. I have to get under there and see where we can actually run this line so it stays out of the way of everything hot and moving, because with your suspension you definitely don't want to lose it, because when this is low I can't even drive in there. That little concrete hump right there that holds the door from pushing in, this bottoms out on that already, and we're going to be going even lower. So got to make sure everything's good. Let's see. Go through there. Go over this. Ooh. Come on, don't curl yet. There. You curl right there. Ugh. Well, that didn't work. There. Push, twist, pull. Make sure it's in there good. I'm still not 100% sure where we're actually going to run this line, but I know we got to keep it away from the exhaust, and that's about it really. So the other side now, we have to get rid of that T that's in there and put a straight fitting on that. So that'll actually give us quite a bit of room. So this is no longer needed. Expensive brass fitting, whatever you want to call it. We're going to straight couplers. Makes a fun noise. It's like a fidget spinner for guys. So we'll go ahead and pull these lines back. That'll actually give us quite a bit back there too, which is awesome. Now I need to figure out exactly where all that slack is. Actually, I'm gonna have to get rid of that zip tie. Not that I'll be able to get under here to actually really do anything. Maybe I can, I don't know. Sorry guys. There it is. There we go. Don't actually know if there's any other spots that it's really holding on to. Yep, here's one. So we got all these little ties that we got to cut because I got the harness, and, well, the wires for the controller and the trailer, well, taillights, and everything else is all on the same line. So theoretically, we might be able to, oh, there's another tie right there. Okay. Well, let's see how far we can pull. I mean, because the back bag line is right here. So if I can take this, I can use these as the back lines, use that as the front lines because I got to run all new plumbing anyways, and I don't want to waste very much of this blue line if I don't have to. So the fact that we just pulled out all that slack, that we still have probably another foot under there. Oh wow. Okay, so that should be about it. So that line should be out of the way of anything. Yeah, we'll go ahead, clip this tie right here. Push, pull. Come on, got it. We're actually gonna have a bunch of extra line from this. So actually, I want this to go back behind here, over the mini notch, through that cross member, come back here, grab our line, actually go behind that too. So we're actually going to want to leave slack on here anyways, because these notches are going to go away, because we are going to do a monster notch or step notch, whatever you want to call it. The bags are going to get moved. So like when we did our compressor, we left a bunch of extra wire. That way that'll make it up over the notch. When we do these valves back here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to leave a bunch of extra wire. That way, if we have to later on, we can trim it. So the camera ended up dying on me. So I got my lines ran from the front to back. Well, that's the line that was already there, but this one ran it from the front to the back. That goes, this line comes in here. This is just a big mess right now. I'm trying to figure out where I can run the lines, and then I ended up putting a Schrader valve on because I was just going to try to fill it up with shop air, and then realized that I don't have a bridge between the two tanks, and I really want one. I want the two tanks to be connected, so that's what I was trying to do. That's why it's a big mess back here. I got lines everywhere. What I'm going to do now is, I already know that cross member is going to go because we're going to do the big step notch, and those valves are all going to have to move when the cross member goes. So I guess now's the time. We're just going to disconnect all that and move all that over here. So yay. So that being said, we'll come in here, feed line out of the way. We got a bunch of wires we're probably gonna have to cut because this harness is definitely not gonna reach back there, which kind of sucks. But there's back line, another back line. It's a feed line. We're just gonna pull these feed lines off because everything is in the way right now. That's really annoying. We're already starting to zip tie stuff up, which kind of sucks. So this right here is a main line that goes to the front. So that's the bag line. This is another bag line. Get those out of the way. So there's a feed line to that set of solenoids. Go ahead and we'll pull that off. Get that out of the way. This one's actually fun to get to because it's like right up in there. There we go. So now we can pull that line out. Yeah, so now we just take out the self-tappers and start cutting. Did like the way this turned out though, but it's the issue with project vehicles or bigger projects like this is you're gonna do stuff and then you're gonna decide you wanna do something else, and you're gonna buy parts over and over, and you're gonna replace stuff, even though it's not bad, just because you want something different. Not replacing them, just moving them. Okay, I think we are ready. So we ended up cutting all the feed lines off these, left them as pairs, exactly the same way I took them off. So we're gonna go ahead and, well, that's way too big. I'm gonna go ahead, and this back cross member is actually a lot thicker than the other cross member. Well, thicker than this cross member, we'll put it that way. So self-tappers do not screw through this. So this all has to be pilot holes, which is fun. Fun being sarcastic. Come on. Okay. So we got that pretty even. Go ahead, grab our drill. I go through after we get everything all wired the way it needs to be. We'll go through and tape everything nicely. Yeah, this will all get cleaned up. So now we need to figure out airlines. Okay, so I got a lot of the boring stuff done. It looks like a mess. All that is left is wiring. So I have my two front lines, they come back. They still gotta be attached out of place. Right, Parker? Right? Right. So we got our feed lines that come in. This line right here actually splits. I have another splitter. That right there acts as my tank to tank to even out the pressures. So these are going to be, if I remember correctly, which I don't. Yeah, this set and this set are both front tank lines. These two are rear. So now what we get to do is these solenoid wires that aren't connected to anything need to get ran to the cab and connected to the controller. I already took out my other wiring harness that I had. So this wire, since these are just low voltage, amperage, whatever, I got these out of the garbage at work. Well, it was actually one wire. I cut it in half and it should be long enough. It kind of sucks I'm gonna have to use both of them because there's only 5 wires in a harness and I have 8 valves. So I'm gonna go ahead and run this, connect it, and we will be back. Well, it's been a long process, lots and lots of patience, but oh yeah, your butthead. So we got all of our airlines, we got, Bentley, stop. Got everything tucked up nicely on, well, I still gotta do that one airline and the power cable, but not gonna bore you guys with that. So I'm gonna charge up the tanks and make sure everything works, and that'll be it. We got the truck aired up. Bentley is gonna be our camera guy. So we're gonna go ahead, restart our cam. Stop doing that. You gotta hold it straight. We're gonna go ahead and start our counter and air out the front at the same time. Bentley, you watch the camera too. Yeah, back up. You're too close.
We got
We're already running out of air. That took about 8 seconds. You're pointing it at the ground, bud.
Hey.
So that concludes another. You're too close. that concludes another episode on CC Garage. More progress on the C10. See you on the next one. Goodbye.